श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज को जय। जगत जननी श्री माता जी को जय। Respected Sant Mahatma, dear Premies, and all the viewers who have joined us on the official channel of Manav Dharma, official Manav Dharma Facebook page. Firstly, I would like to welcome you all on the very first episode of the Journey to Self-Realization, or global series. With the grace of Guru Maharaj Ji and the overwhelming response and inspiration that we received from all of you, we have come across with this another program to stay connected with you all as a global family. So, firstly, I would like to draw your attention towards the format and the idea concept behind this program. After the very successful and very appreciated program of Buddha Jayanti that was streamed globally, we plan to stay connected to you all and organized this program and plan to stay with you and connect to you on every fortnight on the Friday evening Nepali time. So in this program, a global series, we plan to explore the spiritual experiences that all the premies and the spiritual practitioners have gathered. We'd like to create a platform where premies will inspire all the spiritual seekers to move forward in their spiritual journey. So without any delay, I would like to begin today's program with Guru Bandhana. And for that, we are moving to Mahendranagar, the western part of Nepal. But before that, I'd like to request all the viewers to stay connected with us, and I'd like to request all the participants to follow the technicalities. Stay muted when you are not speaking, and be prepared with your performance whenever your time comes. So I believe we all have that schedule forwarded to you. So without any delay, now I'd like to request you all to accept Guru Bandhana, and for that we are moving to western part of Nepal, where we are joined by Jagdish Bhatta and team.
प्रेम संग भनु श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जग जननी श्री माता जी की जय। भगवान श्री पशुपतिनाथ की जय। संपूर्ण भक्तर भगवान की जय। शुद्ध सनातन मानव धर्म की जय। गुरु को कीजिए दंडवत, कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। कीट न जाने भिंग को, गुरु कर ले आप समान। अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तमेन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री हरिवे नमः। प्रेम संग भनु श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जगत जननी श्री माता जी की जय। संपूर्ण भक्तर भगवान की जय। करूं वंदना आज प्रभु को, श्रद्धा भाव को पुष्प चढ़ाई, श्रद्धा भाव को दीप जलाई। करूं वंदना आज प्रभु को, श्रद्धा भाव को पुष्प चढ़ाई, श्रद्धा भाव को दीप जलाई। सतगुरु हमरा ज्ञान दाता, सतगुरु हमरा ज्ञान दाता, अज्ञान हृदय ज्योति जलाऊंगी, अज्ञान हृदय ज्योति जलाऊंगी। भक्ति सुमन को हार चढ़ाई, भक्ति सुमन को हार चढ़ाई। इस दिन प्रभु पद को पूजा करो, इस दिन प्रभु पद को पूजा करो। करो वंदना आज प्रभु को, श्रद्धा भाव को दीप जलाई, श्रद्धा भाव को पुष्प चढ़ाई। घोर कली को भाव संतप मानो, घोर कली को भाव संतप मानो। गुरु शांति डबर जाऊंगी, गुरु शांति डबर जाऊंगी। तन मन आरती आज तन मन आरती आज चरण चरण जाओ, चरण चरण जाओ। करो वंदना आज प्रभु को, भाव को पुष्प चढ़ाई, भाव को सजाई। करुणा को तुम्हारी हाथ बढ़ाई, करुणा को तुम्हारी हाथ बढ़ाई। चल प्रभु ने भाव बंधन छुड़ाई, प्रभु ने भाव बंधन छुड़ाई। नयन बिंदु मारा पीछा, नयन बिंदु मारा पीछा। ध्यान करो, ध्यान करो। करो वंदना आज प्रभु को, भाव को प्रेम संग भंग श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदिशक्ति जगदम्बा माता जी की जय। संपूर्ण भक्त भगवान की जय।
Thank you very much, Jagdish Bhatta and team from Western Nepal. Now, I'd like to officially welcome you all in today's program. And first of all, I'd like to welcome Mahatma Punit Baiji from Hetauda. पूजनीय महात्मा पुनित बाइजुलाई आजको कार्यक्रममा म धेरै धेरै स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु. बाइजी, जय श्री सच्चिदानन्द. After that, I would like to welcome the youth speakers for today's program. We have Tina Katwal from London. We have Puneet Jain from Bangalore, India. We are joined by Reena Sharma from Canada. We are joined by a bhajan singer Ashwin Rai from Mirik, Darjeeling. We have senior speakers as well. We are joined by Dr. Barsa Morer from USA. We have today Subodh Gurung from Australia. We have Manisha Biswa from Bhutan. We are joined by little member of Bal Sabha, Sanidhya Chetri. We are joined by Swiyagya Rai. And besides all the names that I just mentioned, there are so many actively working participants who have organized this program. We are on the background right now. I would like to welcome you all on today's program. Besides the welcome that I attempted, I'd like to welcome you all with a Bal Sabha presentation, a sweet presentation by Sanidhya Chetri. So I'd like to request Sanidhya to present her bhajan.
Namaste. Jai Sri Sachidanand. My name is Sanidhya Chetri from Manav Dharma Ashram Shillong, Meghalaya. Today I'm going to explain the meaning of Tameva Mata, Chapita Tameva, Tameva Bandhu, Chasaka Tameva, Tameva Vidya, Pravinam Tameva, Tameva Sharva, Vamadevati. The meaning of this mantra is, Oh my dear Lords, O Param Puja Maharaji, you are my only mother. You alone are my father. O Almighty, you only are my father. You are my soul's friend. You are my truth relative. You are my wisdom and wealth. You are the divine light. You are my everything. Bole Satguru Maharaj Ji Jai. Manav Dharma Ki Jai. Namaste and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanidhya Chetri, for this very sweet explanation and a very sweet presentation. I'd also like to thank her mother, who has guided this little baby from the very young age in this spiritual path. We are very grateful to you. Now I'd like to move on to another performance, that is bhajan, which will be presented by Swiyagya Rai from Israel. As we all know, being spiritual and being in a foreign country is very tough. Despite that, to manage the time and to be prepared with the performance for today's program, we are very grateful to Swiyagya Rai. And now we are presenting the bhajan.
जय श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जगत श्री माता जी की जय। जय सम्राट श्री कैलाशपति महादेव की जय। सभी देवी महान विभूतियों की जय। हंस की जय। सत्य सनातन मानव धर्म की जय। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुदेव नमः। फूलको आँखामा फुलै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार फुलको आँखामा फुलै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार जोखिम सहे छाया वस्तु अनसुधा काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार चित्त शुद्ध होस् मेरो बोली बुद्ध हो मेरो पैतलाले किदैन मारो चित्त शुद्ध होस् मेरो बोली बुद्ध हो मेरो पैतलाले किदैन मारो राम्रो आँखामा खोज्छ राम्रै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार कहाँ जुन देखो कालो रातैमा जीवन संगीत सुनुमा सुख पातैमा कहाँ जुन देखे कालो रातैमा जीवन संगीत सुनुमा दुख पातैमा संगलो मनमा खुल्छ है सँगै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार फुलको आँखामा फुलै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार काँडाको आँखामा काँडै संसार। प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय।
Jagat Janani Sri Mataji ko Jai. Thank you very much, Sri Yogya for this wonderful and melodious presentation. With a bit of improvisation, it sounded very sweet, and I hope all the viewers are enjoying this performance. After this, I would like to move on to the important session of today's program. While starting this program, the basic concept was to inspire all the youths to move forward to seek the spiritual solution to the problems that they are facing. So, in this session, we are listening to the youth speakers will be sharing their journey of self-realization, connecting to the knowledge of soul. They'll be explaining and sharing the experience based on the self-realization they have made and the guidance that they have received because of the spiritual knowledge. So I'd like to begin this session with Tina Katwal from London, will be the first youth speaker of the day.
Jai Sri Sachidanand, and a very warm welcome to the global series of Journey to Self-Realization. I feel very fortunate to be a part of Manav family, and especially during these difficult times. So if you think about the current time, it's very uncertain, and it's as if the world has come to a halt due to COVID-19. We've seen so many lives, or heard of so many lives that have passed away. And I feel very sympathetic, especially towards the youngsters that have been committing suicide because they aren't able to cope with the COVID-19 situation because of the uncertainty of the time. So this just shows the impact that this pandemic has had on, especially on the mental health. And I personally had to deal with mental health issues myself in the past. But by the grace of Sri Guru Maharaji, he's imparted the spiritual knowledge, which has guided me throughout my difficult time. So this then leads us to the question, why are we unhappy and what is life, right? So for us youngsters, because this world is so competitive these days, we've just made it into our head that life is me versus the universe. So when you're saying life is me versus universe, this is a psychological condition, because no matter how extremely lonely you are, if you think about it, you're still breathing. And just the fact that you're breathing shows that you're connected with the world, you're connected with the universe. Just that little fact that you're breathing. So, which means that we're transacting with the world, and our existence itself is constantly in engagement with the universe. But it is the mind that is against it. So this is when we think about the psychological condition, which is me versus the universe. Even the little things will start crushing you. So these little things could be you losing a job, you getting ditched, you failing an exam. These are just small things between life and death. So this then again brings us to life and death. So when we were all born, if you think about it, we didn't bring anything, we didn't come with anything. And when we die, there isn't any sort of special container that will take us. So no matter what sort of life that you lived, you will end up in the topsoil, unless you're thinking that you will end up in heaven. But then heaven again brings us to the question that, does it actually exist? Does heaven exist? And then the other question is there any proof that the world that we're already living in is not heaven? So if you think about it, it's just your mind that is playing, and we're just making a mess out of this world, making a mess out of this place. And simply because we're not learning how to cope or handle our thoughts and emotions. And we're just suffering. People are suffering. And one of the reasons is there are two main important faculties of our mind. One is our vivid memory, and the other is the fantastic imagination. So this intelligence is what actually sets us apart from all the creatures. So we are actually capable of remembering something that's from 50 years ago, and we can also project something that might happen in about 100 years time in the future. So our mind creates this web of expectations and outcomes, and not necessarily everything falls in place all the time. And this is when you get disappointed. And the moment you get disappointed, this is when the creation of mind begins to work against the mental peace. So this is how you end up being unhappy. So again, moving to life, you just have to think life is rather like a play that actors play in a theater. So one gets to play the role of the prince, the other gets to play the role of a pauper. But if you think about it, when the play ends and then the curtain's down, the prince has to take off his fine costume, whereas the pauper has to take off his rag. And when they leave into the real world, what did it actually matter that one got to play the role of the pauper and the prince? No, it's actually the person who they were, because everything in this world is temporary. So it really doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you come from a rich family or whether you come from a poor family, because the world is temporary. So what does really matter is the eternal. So eternal, in other words, is the spiritual knowledge. And there's a quote by Lewis, all that is eternal is not eternally out of date. So if you think about the modern day, we think about clothes that are out of fashion. We're so concerned about clothes being out of fashion. We're concerned about out of date technology because we don't want to use, we want to use the latest phones, we want to use the latest laptops or all the latest gadgets. But then we never actually think that the life itself, the life that we have itself, is actually out of date. So in Ramayana, it states that if this human life is not to be lived better than any other animal, then you actually wouldn't succeed in achieving what the purpose of life is. So eating, sleeping, fearing, and producing offspring, this is something that all creatures on earth can do. So what sets us apart as humans is that we are able to acquire this spiritual knowledge. So again, going back to all the psychological condition that we have and why we're unhappy. So our spiritual knowledge within us is what can help us control the mind. And until we connect with the spiritual knowledge or this energy, the mind will keep on creating that illusion. So we need to realize that our spiritual identity is to understand that we are not this body. We're not this body. So now the question is, how or when will you be able to learn how to handle these emotions, these thoughts, this body? Is it when you end your life? Or and there's a culture right now that you learn about spirituality at the age of 70, but then at the age of 70, is your body any good for you to learn anything? So the younger you learn about spirituality, the better it is, and you will know the purpose for your life. And I humbly request for all of you to join us in this spiritual journey. And thank you, Jai Shri Sachidanand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kinagatwal. I'll come back to you after some time. Before that, I'll move on to another speaker. And we are joined by Puneet Jain from Bangalore. Now we'll be listening to the journey of self-realization of himself. So Puneet Jain himself. Now I'd like to request him to share the experience in his spiritual journey.
प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय. By the grace of Guru Maharaj Ji, I got this chance to speak in this session. Today's session's name is Journey Towards Self-Realization. It's a vast, topic which a person can understand in their life, but it is not that hard or difficult also to understand that journey towards self-realization. And the best part is I have been asked to share my personal experience towards the journey towards self-realization. So before I start my experience, so I'll purely speak about my experience, because I think, okay, whatever I have gained till now, it's by the grace of Guru Maharaji, I've got this, and I'll purely share my experience. Before sharing my experience, I would like to give you a small introduction about me, which will help you all, because we know that all of you all are working. We are youth people who will be working in different places, in restaurants, in companies, in MNCs. So I also work in a advertising agency. So in an advertising agency, I make ad films, I make commercial films, I shoot films, I make various ad commercials for brands. So like everybody's work, even my work is very distraction. There are days wherein I don't have time to eat properly. There are days wherein we don't have time to, think about other things rather than just work and work. And especially in my business, I need to travel a lot. I need to travel a lot to reach out to different places in the country. But my dear friends, by the grace of Guru Maharaji, I'm very thankful to Manav Dharma, and by the grace of Sri Satgurdev Satpalji Maharaj, I am in this journey towards self-realization. Now, I would rather explain you how I am into the journey of self-realization. There are two simple words in this: self and realization. I would rather first speak about realization, and then I would get into the self. So how do we realize? We would have heard a lot of stories about realization. For example, when a mom and a child loses contact, the child starts crying. When a businessman loses some money in business, he'll feel sad. Or maybe a person or a youngster, his best friend is not speaking to them, we feel very sad. This is very common problems which we feel, which we realize in our life. But my dear friends, this is just one way of realizing. But self-realization is different from what we are speaking here. We are speaking about realizing our true self. And realizing this true self is different from these worldly feelings. The true realization, how do we truly realize ourselves, is the question. So the basic thing, again, my experience towards this journey, how do I realize, is I fight with my mind. Now the word fight with my mind is maybe very tough. It sounds very tough that you need to fight with your mind. But as Guru Maharaji has made it so simple in his discourses, he tells that there's a word called Samudra Manthan, churning of the ocean. What does he mean out of that? Churning of the ocean. The ocean means your mind, and you need to churn your mind. For example, when we churn milk, you get butter, you get ghee. Or the moment we start churning our mind, we get to know what our mind is up to. This mind is the root cause of everything. When we churn our mind, when we see our thoughts, when we watch our thoughts, when we see what kind of feelings are, when we get angry, we need to realize that our mind, we need to step back. We need to step back a little bit from the mind and think that, okay, what is this mind up to? We need to churn. We need to think upon our mind. I'm 30. So in all our years till now, what we have done is we have become very dominant by the mind. If our mind says that we need to watch TV, we are going to watch TV. If our mind says that we need to meet our friends, we meet our friends. When our mind says we need to go out and have pizzas, we do this. That means our mind has got really, really dominant over us. My dear friends, as I told you, the mind is the root cause. We need not be dominant by the mind. Our brain should be more dominant than our mind. And how is that possible? That is possible when you keep on churning your mind, when you keep on thinking upon it. When, as I told you, we need to churn, we need to think, we need to practice that technique, how we can control our mind. Okay, now we know that how do we watch our mind, how do we use the technique which a spiritual master teaches us to control our mind, to watch our mind. So once we do that, the next question comes that then where do we bring our mind to? Where should we shift our focus? If not in worldly things, where do we shift our focus? That's the next question which arises in our lives. If we not think on worldly matters, like for example, as I told you, not on eating pizzas, I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm not saying that is wrong. We should do all the possible things in life, but at the same time, we shouldn't be attached to it. So once we watch our mind, we should shift our focus to something else. And what is that? That is the inner self. The day we realize that inner self, we are on the journey towards self-realization. As I told you, now I hope things are pretty clear on how do you realize. The mantra is fight with your mind, don't make your mind dominant. And this is possible by fighting with your mind and using the right technique, which is taught by a spiritual master to control your mind. The next is, what is the inner self, which I was talking about, to shift our mind's focus towards inner self. What is that inner self? How do you know that what is inner self? All these answers will be answered to you by few things. That is the main prime thing which I also do. As I told you, I'm just speaking about my experience. What do I do and how am I towards in this journey? So the first thing, in order to remind me what is my inner self, what is my true self, is first I listen to satsang. Second, I do a lot of seva. And third, I try to get as much as possible darshan. And fourth, I try to make myself available in the company of Baijis, Mahatmajis. When we do this, as Maharaji says again in his speeches, he tells that if a battery is getting discharged, you need to go on, you need to recharge it. And how do you recharge it? By listening to satsang, by doing seva, by doing darshan, by accompanying Baijis and Mahatmajis. When we do that, what happens when we do all of this? When we do all of this, we get to know the real meaning of infinite energy, which is one of the forms of our inner self. We need to understand the form of ourself. We need to understand the purpose of our life. And we need to, as I told you, we need to learn the technique to control our mind. All these questions will be answered to you once we attend satsang, we do darshan, we do seva. So the point where I am here, again, I need to put up my experience. What am I going to tell that? If we know the technique to control our mind, and if we don't do seva, if we don't do satsang, if we don't devote our time in investing, see, we all invest in professional growth. We invest in financial growth. We all put our times in all these growths, but we never put our time in our personal growth. And what is this personal growth? The personal growths happen only when we become a true seeker to a true spiritual master. That's why I told you, if we know the technique to control our mind, but in order to focus our mind in our true inner self, we need to be a seeker to a true spiritual master. We need to listen to satsang. We need to do seva. We need to get darshans. And this is the way we can do that. So this is how my journey towards the self-realization is. And this is, my dear friends, as my friend Tina also told, this is very important in our lives. This is really important in our life to learn, to understand what is our inner self. And the more and more you listen to satsang, the more you remember on the holy name, the true technique, how we are going to, control our mind, the more we'll be proceeding in the journey. So I would like to conclude my speech by telling that I need to sum up my speech by noting the point which I follow is 1, fighting with my mind, 2, doing seva, 3, being a seeker to a true spiritual master, doing dhyan, doing meditation, meeting, giving company to Sant Mahatmas, Baijis. And my dear friends, when we use the right technique, and we do all the other things, as I told you, to do darshan, seva, automatically the grace of the true spiritual master, the grace of this God will automatically shower ourselves on us, and we'll be on this journey to realize ourselves. Once again, I would like to thank the organizers and Sri Guru Maharaji to giving me a chance, and I hope my speech would inspire few youngsters to walk towards this journey into self-realization. Thank you, and Jai Shri Satchidanand. प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय.
Jai. Thank you so much, Puneet ji. I definitely believe that your speech has inspired many. I'd like to come back to you for some questions. Basically, the things that you explained were very nice, very clear, but focused, basically focused on the premies that are already in a spiritual company. So I'd like to come back to you talking about the youths that are struggling, or they don't even know that the spiritual practice is a solution to the problems that they are facing. So I'd like to come back to you after some time on this topic. Before that, we're moving on to Canada, where we are joined by our third youth speaker of the day, Veena Sharma. First, we'll listen to her.
प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय. गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेव महेश्वर गुरुर् साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय. Bowing down on the lotus feet of Sri Guru Maharaji, and I offer my sincerest gratitude to all the Sant Mahatmas and Jai Sri Satchidanand, to all dear brothers, sisters, and everyone joining us today. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers of the Global Virtual Satsang for providing us an opportunity to connect and share our experiences. And I would like to express my heartfelt condolences to all the people around the world who have lost their loved ones on this ongoing coronavirus pandemic. I also wish for the good health and soon recovery of those who are fighting this virus. During this most uncertain time, the whole world is fearful, anxious, and stressed. Everyone is in a constant battle of balancing their physical, emotional, and mental health. We need a constant guidance and support, and it is our good fortune that Sri Guru Maharaji has provided us a platform where we can access all sorts of resources that helps us holistically. So, having said that, obstacles are part of human life, especially in the part of spirituality. I say that because we live in a world full of Maya and materialistic desires. We, as human beings, are not free from this materialistic world. So it is a bitter truth, and like it is a source of suffering also. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spiritual soul. But that same attachment to the self-realized devotees opens the door to self-realization. Material things are essential to live a good life, and perhaps it will help us in path of self-realization, but that will not provide us the ultimate happiness. So accumulation of wealth and materialistic things will only increase greed and suffering. Like suffering increases due to ignorance, ego, grudge, and negligence. The only way out of suffering is following the path of self-realization. Mind you though, the journey to self-realization is not an easy one. It is like a fork in the road in a jungle where you don't know where you're going. You are unsure which path leads to where. And similarly, the journey towards self-realization is a choice between the materialistic pleasures of the world versus peace, happiness, and pleasure that is within ourselves. It said that Guru ko kijiye dandavat, koti koti pranam, kiti ne jane vringe ko guru karle aap saman. You know, a wasp transforms any insects into its own form. Similarly, a guru can transform a devotee's life. A guru is someone who sets light on darkness. So Sri Sadgurudev Satpaji Maharaj, the true spiritual master of this era, this time, is spreading this divine knowledge. Most of us have been graced with the knowledge already, but like only with constant practice, self-discipline, and selfless services, we will be able to see the transformation within ourselves. For example, if a person has never tasted sugar in their life, they will not know what sugar tastes like. Description of sugar will only help them realize what sugar might taste like, but they will not be absolutely sure of its taste unless they taste it. Similarly, reading scriptures, performing rituals, going to pilgrimages, and attaining the knowledge itself is like the description of sugar. It is like the essentials that we collect for our journey, but it is not the journey itself. So only with pure devotion, selfless service, and constant meditation and practice will be able to reach our destination. We all are a unique expression of God, like endowed with divine potencies and with the freedom to shape our own self-willed destiny. Our spiritual wisdom will only be enhanced by full devotion and dedication on Master's feet, and with constant meditation upon His holy name. With this, I would like to conclude my speech, and thank you everyone. Thank you for this opportunity, and Jai Shri Sachidanand. Prem se boliye Shri Sadgurudev Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much, Reena ji, for your explanation, for your sharing of the experience that you have gained. Now, I'd like to come back to Tina on a very common issue that every youth faces, and I believe you must have experienced that yourself as well. Am I audible? Are you listening? So my question to Tina is, as a youth, we all pursue materialistic goals. In a way, we don't even realize that happiness lies within ourselves. We seek happiness in anything that we can present to others as our success. We believe that achieving a materialistic goal would make us happy, would develop a status in front of others, in front of the society, and that would make us happy. So, to this mentality, how difficult is it to introduce the concept of spirituality, to the concept of self-realization, the concept of looking into yourself, being introvert? How difficult is it, and how have youths that are in the spiritual path developed this habit? How have they overcome this materialistic goals?
Jai Shri Sachidanand, thank you for the question. So like I mentioned, like when I first was introduced to the spirituality, my very first question to one of the Baijis in the ashram was, does heaven and hell exist? Because that's how we live. We live in fear, and we think, oh, okay, if you do the good deeds, you'll end up in heaven, and if you do the bad deeds, you'll end up in hell. So when Baiji told me that once the breath leaves your body, that's it, your soul leaves your body. This body is nothing without that soul. So it was just about realizing that soul. And I know, like, I've got loads of friends and we've got social life, and it seems very uncool to introduce spirituality. But because I've been talking about it little by little, we don't necessarily talk about the experience itself, but we talk about how, and one of my friends, she was like, it's really cool that you actually go and pray and you believe in God. So it's just about introducing them in a way that meditation helps us realize ourselves. And like I mentioned with the mental health issues, it's helped me personally, and I think it will help a lot of youths these days, because we always are confused between the reality, the truth, and it will just help us know what life is about, and there's much more. And when we meditate, we can take example from the smallest creatures, ants, and they're so small, but they're so intelligent. And God has created us in a way that we're so intelligent, but we can take an example from them. Though you stop their way, they always make their way to where they need to go if you stop an ant. And they always store up provision for the next season. So in the same way, we just need to meditate, and only then you can realize what the true self is. Thank you. Just Vishal Salam.
Dear viewers, I believe that so many of the youths that are not interested in spirituality don't seek for their problems solution via the spiritual path are inspired by Ms. Tina's today's presentation. Now I'd like to ask another question to Punitji. He mentioned that seva, fighting with the mind, and being in a company of spiritual practitioners would help us in the journey of self-realization. I would like to ask him, what about the youths that don't even know that they are facing the problems? They don't even know that the mind that is troubling them, it is actually the mind that has troubled us, or it troubled the youths that are facing different problems. So it is easier for us, we are already in the spiritual path, but what about the youths who are not introduced to this path, who don't know that their life has become hell because of lack of self-realization? They don't even know, they are seeking, they are running after something that they have not achieved. They look one goal, achieve that, they are not satisfied, and they move on to another one, but they are not satisfied, and they are not realizing that in order to solve all the problems that they are facing, they need to be in the spiritual company. So how do we introduce these people to spirituality? How do we solve the problems that they don't even know that exists? Punitji.
First of all, I would like to tell you that even when I was born, I was not into too much into. I was not born directly to incline towards spirituality, and I'm sure, and today's youth, what they actually need is, they just ask a very very straight and a simple question, that if I am into spiritual things, what will I get back? Instead, when I do job, I get money. When I work, I get happiness. When I do something, I get something. But when I'm spiritual, what do I get back? So that's the one thing what youth always, and that's the driving force. Maybe without anything, a youth may not be interested. So I would rather put up a very simple question in front of youth, that when you go out with your friends, or when you meet, or when you work, you get happiness. Just ask yourself two things. One, does that happiness prolong for a longer time? Does this continue to the longer time? That's the one question you have to ask. And if not, do you require a happiness, the internal peace, which will long for long? And if you require that, you need to be spiritual. And being spiritual in youth, it has been, when I speak to my friends about meditation, about all of this, they tell it's very difficult, Puneet. I mean, the way it is told, there are hundreds of spiritual masters, there are hundreds of philosophies, But how do we inspire, or how do we seek the right master? My answer to them will be always go to all the spiritual masters, adopt all the philosophies possible for you. But as I tell, only this human body is, not animals, not any other creatures has the decision power to know what is right and what is wrong. Only humans, only youth, only a human incarnation will understand that what is right and what is wrong. When you get something peace, which is throughout your year, when you are at meditation, when you're spiritually inclined, or when you're journey towards your self realization, you will have peace throughout. And automatically, as Sanjeev, you told, youth are very stressed nowadays. Once they are into spirituality, automatically the stress will go. Automatically they'll have that inner peace, and this inner peace is throughout the time. So my answer to your question will be just one more question to the youth: that do you require a peace? Do you require inner happiness, which will be throughout your journey of your life? If you yes, then you need to be spiritual. You need to be on the journey of self-realization. That's my answer.
Thank you, Puneetji. Now I'd like to ask Reenaji another question. How do we balance this? Since we are youths, we have our materialistic goals as well. We have to balance our life in social way. We are inclined to different hobbies that we have, and there is a spiritual path that we are supposed to follow. So among all the difficulties, all the, let's say, limitness of time that we have, how to balance the spiritual and the materialistic life? What would Reena ji say about this?
Yes, thank you. I think it's very important that we as youths, or we as devotees, we need to separate like a certain time of the day for meditation, and if we are to enhance our journey to self-realization, we must have certain like discipline. I already said in my speech that like self-discipline is the must. Like we must have separated some like time for our journey to self-realization. And without self-discipline, without selfless services, it's very hard. As as you said, it's like the hustle and bustle of our everyday life it shrinks us and it stresses us very much. And it's very important that having probably maybe like an hour of our day to at least for ourselves, right? Like we are doing everything, maybe work, we are socializing with our friends, we are going out doing everything that's for our outside materialistic world. But then like for our inner self, for our inner peace and inner happiness, like we must contribute a certain amount of our time throughout the day to enhance our journey to self-realization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reenaji. Now, after this first session of interaction and experience sharing, I would like to present a version that will be from Darjeeling, Mirik, Darjeeling, where we are joined by Ashwin Rai. So I'd like to request Ashwinji to relax us a bit with the bhajan that is prepared with.
भगवन कहाँ मैं जाऊं यो ठाउँ खै कहाँ छ मन यो जहाँ बिसाऊं मन यो जहाँ बिसाऊं भगवन कहाँ बजाऊं। ओ बुद्धिमान मनछे विचारवाना। ओ बुद्धिमान मनछे विचारवाना। किनहु परंतु सेवा खुल गई ना मैत्री ज्ञान। यो ताप मेट तिम्रो छाया कहाँ म पाऊं। मन यो जहाँ बिसाऊं। मन यो जहाँ बिसाऊं। भगवन कहाँ म जाऊं। प्रेम से बोलिए श्री गुरुदेव महाराज की जय।
Sri Sadgurudev Maharaj Ko Jai. Thank you so much, Ashwin Raiji, for this very soothing, melodious performance. Now we are almost into the second session, where we will be joined by the senior speakers, and similar kind of interaction will be there. They are senior, but by every means they are youthful, so we can still call them youth speakers, I guess, if they agree with me. Before I begin this session, where we seek for the inspiration from their lives, their very own lives, their very own journey of self-realization, before that, we'll begin this session with an instrumental performance by Pritam Chetriji, who is very much popular among the premies for his melodious performances. So I'd like to request him to make this session very, I'd like to request him to begin this session with a positive vibration. I'd like to request him to present his performance, please.
Jai Shri Sachidanand. I'm going to perform a Hindi version, O Palanhari, as instrumental on flute. So let's pray for world peace. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Sri Sachidanand.
Thank you so much, Pritam Chatterjee, for this very lively performance, and background suited your performance as well. All those flowers make us feel as if we're outside despite the lockdown. So thank you so much. Now I'd like to begin this session where we'll be listening to the experience of the senior speakers. And firstly, I'd like to request Dr. Barsa Moror. I'm sorry, she'll be the second speaker. The first speaker will be Subodh Gurumji from Australia. I'd like to request him to drive us through his spiritual journey, the journey of self-realization. Sri Sadgurudev Maharaj Ko Jai.
In the lotus feet of Sri Guru Maharaji, I offer my humble pranam. Jai Sajidan to Baijis, Mahatmajis, and Premis. First of all, thank you for the opportunity given to share my thoughts on the journey of self-realization. I'm really blessed to be in the common platform in the umbrella of Guru Maharaji. First of all, let us think, what is self-realization? You know, every individual has his own interpretation depending on his faith, his belief, upbringing, and experiences in life. A small quote, a proverb, or even listening to a satsang may trigger one's mind. Well, in my own experience, I came from India in 2000, and being in a telecom industry for a long time and keeping up with the challenges and the work pressure, I was still able to continue with the spiritual duties. My own self-realization would be attending satsang, doing seva, dhyana, and being in the company of Baijis. The youths have actually, really spoke very well, excellent in giving their own experiences. And as the adult speaker, I would like to touch base on the scriptures and the experiences of saints. Lord Buddha was once asked, what is the purpose of life? And he said, the purpose of life is a journey to realization that starts from the self to the self, which means to be self-realized, you have to go within. Bin satsang vivek na hoi, ram kripa bina sulabh na soi. Satsang is the food of our soul. Without satsang, we won't be able to get the spiritual knowledge. It is said, man is the crown of the creation. We as human beings are so fortunate to have this human birth, because it is only in this birth, we are able to take the holy name and experience the divinity within us. For the youths and also for us adult as a mankind, the positive mental, physical, and spiritual effects of meditation are dire needs for today's youths, which will blossom there through self. In the Kurukshetra war, when Lord Krishna enlightened Arjuna in the battlefield, he said, he is a true yogi who has control over his senses. My dear brothers and sisters, mind is a flow of thoughts. We constantly have good thoughts and bad thoughts. The way we perceive things in life through our indriyas determines our actions, which turns into habits and eventually becomes our nature. Hence, it is important we entertain good thoughts. And the first step to entertain good thoughts is to go to satsang, to do seva, to do dhyana. When an iron filling comes in contact with a magnet, it too acquires magnetism. In the same way, realized souls are like magnets. Being with the company awakens our spiritual knowledge. There are many stories in our scriptures, which inspires us of Lord Rama, Krishna, Buddha, and Jesus. And in spite of being enlightened soul, they too have to seek a guru. I would like to highlight on a story of Sukdev Muni. Sukdev Muni was the son of Vedavyasa and had knowledge right from the time he was in his mother's womb. When he went to the region of Lord Vishnu, he was thrown out because he did not have a master to guide. It was Raja Janak who enlightened him. Sukdev Muni was an avatar with 12 supernatural powers, and he hesitated in the first instance when he was told that Janak would be his guru. It is said he waited for 12 years in the garbage dump outside the king of Janak's palace. He stood there and allowed the garbage to fall in the head, and that's how he developed humility. There's a beautiful bhajan which I really enjoy singing. Re manus kya dhoonde is jag mein, sab kuch tere andar. So it goes this way. Re manus kya dhoonde is jag mein, sab kuch tere andar. ढूंढ ले मोती बैठे के बंदे तू है एक समंदर रे मानुस क्या ढूंढे इस जग में सब कुछ तेरे अंदर. It says that in every bhajan there is a satsang. Today in the evening I was listening to Angira Bhaiji, and she was saying that every bhajan has a satsang, and it is not only we enjoy satsang, but when we listen to a bhajan or when we listen to the meaning of the bhajan, we need to implement it. We need to practice it on daily basis. So with this bhajan, today man searches for pleasure in materialistic thing, but he is not aware the actual happiness lies within. To give you an example of a deer, the deer goes from jungle to jungle in search of kasturi, which is the musk. But she is not aware the musk is hidden in her own navel. It is said that there are 4 types of devotees. You have the first one is the artha, you have the arthati, you have the jigyasu, and you have the jnani. My dear brothers and sisters, the pandemic we are going through today, we as human beings are so selfish. If we have to keep ourselves, I think would be in the first step, because as a human being we always fear of having something. So instead of that, why not have the 4th one, which is the jnani? Because God himself says that there is no difference between me and a jnani. It is said that you reap what you sow. So if you sow a mango seed, you get a mango. If you sow a banana seed, you get a banana. In the same way, you are responsible for your own action. As Socrates, the great philosopher, says, man, know thyself. How much do we know ourselves? We are neither the body, the mind, or the intellect. We need to ask our own self, who am I? The first thing we need to ask is, who am I? Why have I come in this world, and where do I go? In one of the wall in Gandhiji's ashram, it was written, "Andhakar kitna bhi grahan ho, roshni ki timtima loho andhakar ko dur karne ki kshamta rakhti hai." It means no matter how much is the darkness, a single ray of light is enough to bring brightness. Today we are alive because we are breathing. With every breath we take, we have the ability to take the holy name of God. Just as the strong wind dispels clouds and brings back the sun, so when we meditate, it dispels the darkness and we can experience the divinity within us. There is a very beautiful share in Hindi I would like to share. यहाँ हर कोई रखता है खबर गैरों की गुनाहों की. यहाँ हर कोई रखता है खबर गैरों की गुनाहों की. अजीब फितरत है, कोई अनजान नहीं है रखता. और इसी से एक मिलता जुलता शेर. उम्र भर मैं यही गलती करता रहा, उम्र भर में यही गलती करता रहा, धूल चेहरे में थी और मैं ऐना साफ करता रहा. And with this experience, stories and lessons, we should motivate ourselves to realize the truth within. Sarve bhavantu sakena, sarve santu niramay, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashita dukma puyata. Thank you, Jai Sachidanand.
Shri Sadgurudev Maharaj ko Jai. Thank you very much, Subodhji, for this very overwhelming and directing experience and satsang of a bit. Now I'd like to move on to another speaker for the day, Dr. Vassa Morer from USA.
Dear all brothers and sisters, seekers and devotees alike, it is with a grace at the lotus feet of Sri Satpalji Maharaj that we are all gathered here to listen to experiences and satsang of the devotees. And it is with great honor that I'm here able to speak to the youth today. Given our current situation around the world with the COVID pandemic, it has changed our lifestyles and our interactions forever. If we are able to maintain a positive attitude amidst this current environment, we can turn the situation into a very pristine opportunity to further evolve ourselves as you are doing here today. What I mean is that we are constantly caught up in the daily cycle of studies, socialization, parties. All of this just distracts us from our true purpose in this life. In this period, we were advised to stay at home, which has limited our outer distractions. And because of this, it has made it easier for us to meditate and to go deeper into our meditation. So to be successful in this path, one has to have a discipline in practice and also in letting go of things that are going to affect your practice. So the knowledge that is given to us by our master of this time is one that can be practiced 24/7. Yes. So the nectar technique, meditating on the holy name, can be done while completing all your other tasks, such as driving, cooking, painting, reading, listening, even watching. One of the Mahatmas, Mahatma Fakirananji, he always taught this to us. He always taught us to continually practice this throughout the day, no matter what you are doing. This has really helped me over the years. Mahatmaji has stayed with me. I've been able to do a lot of seva over my life, and I have learned a lot of meditation through driving as well. So through driving and keeping your mind focused in meditation is a very good time to practice that. Along with this, we also have to develop a regular sitting meditation in which you can practice the other kriyas, where you can be in private, either in the stillness of your room or wherever you're able to find that peaceful spot that you can go within. If you can find a regular time, that's good, but don't set yourself a time limit to meditate, especially if you are starting in this path. Sometimes we may sit for a very short period of time and have a very deep meditation. There are other times you may sit for hours but find your mind wandering all over the place. So with practice, you should be able to sit for a minimum of an hour daily. If you do find your mind wandering, like from place to place, when you are sitting for your meditation, this is very common in the initial stages of anyone who is on this journey. These are some tips that can help you to stop your wandering mind. So instead of fighting over the thoughts that are coming up in your mind, is there something that you need to do Is there something that's bothering you that you haven't completed? Then go ahead and do it first and then sit down. If it's just random thoughts coming in your mind from your past experiences or your daily experiences, then what you have to do is try to focus your mind with your breath as much as you can. And if you are focused with your breath fully, then those thoughts will slowly dissipate and they will eventually no longer affect you. This all takes practice. If your body is fidgety, on the other hand, there could be an imbalance in your system. What I mean by this is several things. You may need to adjust your posture and then come back and reset and try again. Or if you're still having trouble, you can practice keeping your body healthy, and this is very important. Now, how do we do that? There's several aspects to that. You want to maintain physical endurance, healthy eating, and rest. So there are things like nutritional imbalances through not eating well can affect your ability to sit still and to meditate. So we have to strive to eat less processed foods. Sometimes we may jump to fast foods, and we have to try to eat more fresh, healthy cooked meals with an adequate balance of vegetables, grains, fruits, etc. This all affects your body and your mind. So keeping your body physically fit allows you to sit in meditation for longer periods. So this is why you are very lucky if you're young and you're learning to practice meditation at a younger age, because if you're younger, your body is more flexible. You don't have many ailments, you don't have any body pains as people develop as they grow older. So it is of prime importance to start your practice now and not wait until you are older. Each and every one of us has that divinity within us. Each and every one of us does. And it is your birthright to access this. Otherwise, you have just wasted your life in vain. If you think right now, I'm too busy, I need to study, I need to pass my exams, I need to become so-and-so, then what will happen after you study? You'll want to get married, then you want to find a life partner, then you want to have kids, and so on, and the cycle will just continue on. So to practice meditation and have knowledge does not mean you have to give up your studies, doesn't mean you have to give up your career, your aspirations, but rather you will be able to complete those less effortlessly and have less struggle in your life. It will help you to be better at whatever it is that you are doing and help you to excel at that. I have experienced that in my life. I was able to practice meditation through my studies, through medical school, through my psychiatry residency, through my child psychiatry residency, and through my work as a child psychiatrist as well. It has just given me immense strength and ability to complete my studies, allow me to be better focused and to work better with people around me as well as my patients. So in this journey, so this is our journey and this is the path towards self-realization. So therefore, while we are performing all our duties, our mind should be at the level where it can be merged totally with God. So how can we do that? How can we live in this life and at the same time meditate on God? This is where you have to have control over your mind. Even if you have perfect physical condition, you have a really good intellect, and you have a great potential, if your mind is not controlled and it's unsteady, it will be difficult for you to accomplish because your mind would be swaying this way and that way. So your mind is constantly gathering information from outside and holding on to it. This is because the things of the world cannot steady your mind. This is explained scientifically because our minds are vibrating, and the vibration of the mind exceeds everything else. For example, atoms in solids are vibrating, molecules in the air are vibrating. but the mind vibrates at a much higher frequency than either solids, liquids, or gases. There is only one thing that can actually seize and control the mind, and that can subdue it, is the primordial vibration, which is our life breath. Now, if you truly want to have a spiritual experience, there are certain facets you have to develop. You can only become spiritual if you are faithful. You have to develop love, and you have to develop faith to yourself as well as to your spiritual teacher. Now, how does a person develop love and faith? So if you love what you are doing, then you are going to be dedicated to that. If you love something or someone, you are going to be dedicated towards that person, and then nobody can sway you. Nobody is going to affect you and change your mind, right? So meditation quenches the thirst of your mind. It automatically enhances love, and love enhances meditation. So when you have a great deal of love for God, it opens the doors of your heart. Now, you can also pull yourself out of the karmic law through meditation. It's like a fire roasting seeds. Therefore, through knowledge from a living master, one can eliminate karmas. If your karmas are eliminated, you can get salvation in this life. So instead of multiplying your karmas, with the fire of knowledge, the power of knowledge, you can roast the seeds of karma so that they do not multiply. You are not stuck in your life. You all have the ability to change your present and completely change your future. The karmas you have done in the past are what you're suffering at present time. You have not yet broken your karmas or saturated your karmas. You are still under the karmic law, but not above that. All of you coming here today is also due to karma. But through the company of saints, through practicing knowledge, one can actually break that cycle of karma. That is the only way that peace and harmony can be brought to the whole world. Maharaji aspires to manifest knowledge in action, so we can eliminate religious prejudices and dogmas through dissemination of this knowledge. So by this knowledge, a Buddhist can know what Buddha taught. A Christian can know what Christ taught. And a Muslim could know what Muhammad taught. A Hindu would know what Krishna and Ram taught. Okay, because this is the essence of all religions. It's the practical experience. So by understanding these practical teachings of self-realization, it will bring higher awareness to all of humankind. This will change your individual and social circumstances. It will eradicate prejudices and social misconduct, because ignorance is just a lack of understanding. So once you are initiated into this knowledge, you will regain a spiritual vision. It is the same knowledge that turns Siddhartha into Buddha, the same knowledge that changed Arjuna from a coward into a fighter. So we can have the same experience, and your lives will also be transformed. When you are initiated into knowledge, you have access to that divine energy that is within yourself. There are 4 aspects of divine energy. There's the holy word, the light divine, the music, and the nectar. Jesus was anointed with the living water of the knowledge and became Christ. Moses saw the burning bush and he was transformed. They were merely men of flesh like you and I that became men of spirit. So many gurus, they only reveal 1 or 2 techniques, but they don't reveal the whole complete knowledge. So that is why people are in limbo and they're not able to hold on to the 4 legs of the table upright, because they cannot experience the total and only get this, like some of the experience. So when you receive knowledge in the potential energy, it becomes kinetic energy, which manifests itself. And it takes the form of the word, the light, the music, and the nectar. This self is thus united with the source. So meditation elevates your consciousness, awakens your Kundalini Shakti, as the Indian yogis call it, which is the same as the word. The individual soul will then realize the universal spirit. This realization is called knowledge or gyan. This is our second birth, without which we can never enter the kingdom of heaven. The holy name is resonating within us all, and its expression is truth, consciousness, and bliss. To experience this, we have to have the grace of a living master of the time. And it takes place through selfless service and single-minded devotion. You can experience this highest state of consciousness, as Lao Tzu explained, without going out of my house, I can know the universe. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Jai Satchidanand.
Sadgurudev Maharaj Ko Jai. Thank you so much, Dr. Barsa Moraji. I'll come back to you after some time. But since we are running out of time, I'd quickly like to present a bhajan by Manisha Biswa from Bhutan.
Friends, बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जगत श्री माता जी सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जगत जननी श्री माता जी की जय।
श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज को जय। Thank you so much. Raise a question, a couple of questions to our senior speakers. Firstly, I would like to go to Dr. Morer. You clearly explained the whole process from diet, physical exercise, physical flexibility to mental health. So we are very much clear about the process that we need to follow in our spiritual journey. But having said that, since it is a very gradual and time-taking process, do you think people might get or would get deviated from the path they are supposed to follow? Do you think they get distracted? And if they do, what is the solution for those sort of distractions or the problems that they face that compel them to move out of the gradual process of spirituality?
Okay, Jay Sachin, that's a very good question. So I can speak from my own experience with this, since I have been meditating for many years, and you know, having knowledge and being able to meditate does not mean that no struggles will come in your life. It is a very gradual process that demands a lot of discipline and a lot of practice. When we have struggles or when we have things that come up and we feel all alone, we feel that God left us, why am I continuing down this path? Actually, the opposite is really true. So, the one thing I learned through all these years is that to meditate not only when you have struggles more, but to push more further in your good times as well. Therefore, at the times when you have struggles, it just passes very easily. There are times when you will get distracted because there's Maya. We're all surrounded by, we all live in a material world. If we're going to school, studying, going to university, trying to get a job, people are going to pull you out from all over the place. How to saturate yourself. Maharaji has taught us how to do that. how to saturate yourself so that people stop pulling you out and distracting you is what some of the other speakers have talked about, such as being in the presence of good company. Try to be in the presence of good company. Try to seek spiritual discourse whenever you can. Try to attend satsang whenever you can. Try to get darshan from the lotus feet of the master. Try to do seva whenever you can. The biggest seva you can do right now is meditate at home. If you don't have access to an ashram, if you don't have access to a saint. I was truly blessed because I was stuck with 2 baijis during this COVID pandemic. I had 2 baijis in my home, so my time went by very fast because I was 24/7 doing seva, either to baiji or to my kids, it seemed like. So I think that there are going to be a lot of distractions. Read spiritual books. When I was studying, I was continuously being pulled out by everything around me all the time. The only way I could do it was through going as much as possible to be around spiritual company and having satsang. And we can talk more about that in other times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mara. I also wanted to ask a question to Subodhji, but since we are almost about 30 minutes behind time, I keep that for another day, and I'd like to move on to another bhajan, and after that we'll be blessed by the satsang from Mahatma Puneet Baiji. So now we move on to Mauritius, where we are joined by Bandhana and Kausalji, who will be presenting this bhajan.
प्रेम से बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। सतगुरु हमको दीजिए जन्म जन्म का साथ। सतगुरु हमको दीजिए जन्म जन्म का साथ। मेरे सिर पे रख दो गुरुवर, मेरे सिर पे रख दो गुरुवर, अपने ये दोनों हाथ। सतगुरु हमको दीजिए जन्म जन्म का साथ। सतगुरु हमको दीजिए जन्म जन्म का साथ। सतगुरु के चरणों की धूली धन दौलत से महंगी है। एक नजर कृपा की गुरुवर नाम की सच से महंगी है। मेरे दिल की तमन्ना यही है, मेरे दिल की तमन्ना यही है, कर सेवा तेरी दिन रात।
Sri Sadgurudev Maharaj ko Jai. That was very, very amazing. We all felt as if we were in ashram. I believe everybody agrees with me. That was very, very wonderful presentation. So I'd like to thank Bandanaji and Kaushalji for the wonderful, wonderful version. And now, as I mentioned earlier, we move on to the satsang that will be delivered by Mahatma Punit Baiji. Baiji, जय श्री सच्चिदानन्द, हामीले अहिलेसम्म विभिन्न युवा वक्ताहरूको विचारलाई श्रवण गर्यौँ। त्यसै गरी अनुभवी वक्ताहरूको विचारलाई पनि हामीले यतिन्जेल सुन्ने मौका पायौँ। युवा वक्ताहरूबाट हामीले युवा जीवनमा युवा उमेरमै कसरी आध्यात्मिक जीवनमा अगाडि बढ्ने प्रेरणा उहाँहरूले प्राप्त गर्नुभयो, युवा सङ्घर्ष सँगसँगै आध्यात्मिक यात्रालाई कसरी अगाडि बढाइरहनु भएको छ भन्ने विषयमा जानकारी प्राप्त गर्यौँ। हाम्रा आदरणीय सुबोध गुरुङज्यू अनि डाक्टर वर्षा मरलज्यूले हामीलाई आध्यात्मिक यात्राका उहाँहरूको अनुभवहरू राख्नुभयो र डाक्टर वर्षाजीले त झन् हामीलाई आध्यात्मिक यात्रामा साना साना पाइलाहरू कसरी उक्लिने भन्ने विषयमा पनि प्रश्न पारिदिनु भयो र हामीले आजको यो पहिलो एपिसोडमा युवा र अनुभवी वक्ताहरूबाट आध्यात्मिक यात्राको प्रेरणा लिने प्रयत्न गर्यौँ। अब हामी कार्यक्रमको उत्तरार्धमा पूजनीय महात्मा पुनित भाइज्यूबाट सम्पूर्ण आजका वक्ताहरूको विचारलाई समेट्दै युवाहरूलाई आध्यात्मिक यात्रामा अगाडि बढ्ने प्रेरणा प्रदान गरिदिनु हुनका लागि निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। अबको क्रममा आजको कार्यक्रमलाई औपचारिक रूपमा समापन पनि पूजनीय महात्मा पुनित भाइजीले गर्नुहुनेछ। त्यस पश्चात हामी ग्लोबल मेडिटेसन र गुरु वन्दनामा जोडिनेछौँ। र अहिलेको क्रममा पूजनीय महात्मा पुनित भाइज्यूलाई सत्सङ्ग विचार राखिदिनु हुनका लागि म हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु।
प्रेमसँग भन्नु श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदिशक्ति जगत जननी माता जी की जय। सब दिव्य महान विभूतिहरू की जय। शुद्ध सनातन मानव धर्म की जय। भगवान पशुपतिनाथ की जय। वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यम् गुरु शङ्कर रूपिणम् यमाश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्र सर्वत्र वन्दते। गुरु की कीजिए वंदना, भाव से बारंबार नाम की नौका से जिनने भव से किया है पार। परम इष्ट देव श्री गुरु महाराज जी एवं मानव धर्म को सञ्जाल भित्र उपस्थित भएर कार्यक्रमको लाभ लिइरहनु भएका सम्पूर्ण युवा भाइ बहिनीहरू लगायत सज्जनवृन्द, धेरै बेर अघिदेखि यो कार्यक्रम चलिरहेको थियो र हामीले धेरै उच्च विचारहरू, महान विचारहरूलाई श्रवण गर्ने मौका पनि पायौं। भजनहरूको माध्यमबाट, सत्सङ्गहरूको माध्यमबाट र प्रश्न उत्तरबाट पालसभाका सानो बाबुबाट हामीले कार्यक्रम राम्रोसित सुन्न पायौं, हेर्न पायौं। अबको क्रम श्री गुरु महाराज जी को स्मरण गर्दै सत्संग विचार राख्नेछु। एक घड़ी आदि से पुनः आद, तुलसी संगत साधु की कटे कोटि अपराध। यहाँनिर अघि युवा भाइ बहिनीहरूको विचार सुन्दै गर्दाखेरि उहाँहरूले सम्पूर्ण कार्यक्रमलाई नै अङ्ग्रेजी भाषामा चलाइरहनु भएको थियो। तर मलाई लाग्छ कति इन्डियाबाट हुनुहुन्छ, कति नेपालबाट हुनुहुन्छ र प्राय बाहिर आउट कन्ट्रीहरूबाट जो पनि हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरू पनि नेपाली भाषा बुझ्नुहुन्छ र इन्डियाबाट जो हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरूले पनि श्रद्धापूर्वक यो सत्सङ्गलाई सुन्नुभयो भने बुझ्नुहुन्छ। जगतजननी श्री माताजी अमेरिकामा गएर सत्सङ्ग गर्ने बेलामा उहाँले लेडिज एन्ड जेन्टलमेन भन्नु भएन, मेरा भाइ अनि बहिनीहरू भन्नुभयो। उहाँ गएर सत्सङ्ग सुनाउँदाखेरि त्यहाँका अङ्ग्रेजहरूले जगत जननी माताजीको सत्सङ्ग सुनेर भावविभोर भएर अश्रुजल जगत जननी माताजीको अगाडि वर्षाएका थिए भन्ने उदाहरण हामी सुन्दछौँ भने सत्सङ्ग श्रद्धाको विषय हो। र हामीले एक घडी आधी भन्दा पनि आधी यदि सत्सङ्गलाई सुन्यौं भने हाम्रा करोडौं अपराधहरू काटिएर जान्छन्। तर विडम्बनाको कुरा के छ भने मान्छेले समयको फाइदा उठाउन सक्दैन। त्यसैलाई सम्झाउनका लागि हाम्रा सन्तहरू कसरी सम्झाउनुहुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि अमृत बेला गया आलसी सो रहा बन अभागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा। अमृत बेला गया आलसी सो रहा बन अभागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा। चोलियां भर रहे भाग वाले, लाखों पतितों ने जीवन संभाले। राजा रंक बने प्रभु रस में सने कष्ट भागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा। प्रभु रस में सने कष्ट भागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा। अमृत बेला गया आलसी सो रहा बन अभागा, साथी सारे जगे तू न जागा। यो भजनले के सम्झायो त? अमृत बेला गया। श्री गुरु महाराजजीले आज हामीलाई यस्तो शुभ अवसर दिनुभएको छ। सम्पूर्ण भक्त समाजलाई आज यो इन्टरनेटको माध्यमद्वारा महापुरुषहरूका वाणीहरू श्री गुरु महाराजजी, विभुजी महाराजजी, माताजी एवं सन्त महात्मा तथा प्रेमी भक्त अनुभवीहरूका विचारहरू श्रवण गरेर मनन चिन्तन गरेर ध्यान साधन गर्ने। अघि मेडिटेसनको कुरा आइरहेको थियो। सबैभन्दा पहिले त मनलाई कन्सन्ट्रेसन गर्ने कुरा हुन्छ। हामीले जति नै उपाय लगाए तापनि मन हाम्रो कन्सन्ट्रेसन भएको छैन, मन एकाग्र भएको छैन। साधन गर्छु भनेर सोच्यो भने पनि गर्न सक्दैन। त्यसैले मनलाई एकाग्र गर्नुपर्दछ। मनलाई एकाग्र गर्नको लागि भौतिक साधनहरूबाट मन कहिले एकाग्र हुँदैन र हामीलाई आत्मज्ञान नै चाहिन्छ। आत्मज्ञान प्राप्ति भएर मात्रै पनि हुँदैन, आत्मज्ञान प्राप्ति भइसकेपछि त्यसलाई हामीले युटिलाइज गर्न जान्नु पर्दछ। हामीले समय मिलाएर ध्यान साधन गर्न सक्नु पर्दछ। यदि हामीले ध्यान साधन गर्न सकेन भने, यदि हामीले अलिकति पनि दुःख सहेर मनलाई एकाग्र गरेर मेडिटेसन गरेन भने यो सुन्दर झोला पाएको बेकार हुन्छ। भन्नलाई हामी स्पिरिचुअल ज्ञान भनेर भन्दछौँ, सत्य ज्ञान, तत्व ज्ञान, आत्मा ज्ञान। आत्मा भनेको शरीर अनि यसभित्र बस्ने जुन सत्य वस्तु छ त्यो चाहिँ म शब्द, जसको रियलाइजेसनको बारेमा सेल्फ रियलाइजेसन भनेर अहिले तपाईहरु भर्खरै विश्लेषणहरू गरिरहनु भएको थियो। आफैले आफैलाई जान्नुपर्ने कुरा। यदि हामीले आफैले आफैलाई जान्नुको लागि बाहिर दुनियाँमा भड्किन थाल्यौं भने हाम्रो उमेर, जो हाम्रो लाइफ छ त्यो समाप्त हुन्छ, तर त्यो वस्तुलाई हामीले बाहिर पाउन सकिँदैन। र नै के भन्यो भने तिमीले समयको महापुरुषको सानिध्य जानलाई कहिले पनि हिचकिचाउनु हुँदैन, मनमा दुविधा लिनु हुँदैन, किनभने समयको महापुरुष भनेको स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर हो। हेर्नुहोस्, भौतिक मास्टर टिचरहरूले के गर्छन् भने भौतिक विद्या हामीलाई पढाउँछन्, तर विद्यार्थीले जब विद्यालय स्कुल जान चाहेन, गएन भने त्यो पनि उसलाई प्राप्ति हुँदैन। स्कुल धाउनु पर्छ। र अर्को कुरा, स्कुल जसले धाउँछ, जो पढाइमा ध्यान दिन्छ, उसले भौतिक विद्या प्राप्ति गर्छ। त्यस्तै प्रकारले आध्यात्मिक स्कुलमा पनि धाउनु पर्दछ। अर्को कुरा, स्कुलमा जुन जुन विषय पढाउने भनेर पहिला निर्धारित गरेको हुन्छ तिनै विषयहरू पढाइ भइरहेका हुन्छन्। भलै मास्टरहरू बदली भएर जान्छन्, नयाँ मास्टरहरू आउँछन्, मास्टरहरू बदली हुने क्रम चलिरहन्छ, तर विषय कहिले पनि बदलिँदैन। त्यस्तै प्रकारले सदियौंदेखि, सत्ययुगदेखि लिएर कलियुगसम्म कयौं सन्त महन्तहरू, महापुरुषहरू यस धरतीमा आउनुभयो। किन त भन्दाखेरि सत्यको प्रचार गर्नको लागि। सत्यको प्रचार गर्न आउनुभयो अनि हरेक महापुरुषहरूले त्यो सत्य वस्तुलाई तिमी बाहिर नखोज, तिमीले घरभित्रै प्राप्ति गर्छौ। तिमी आफ्नै मन मन्दिर भित्र प्राप्ति गर्छौ। त्यस कारणले तिमी मनको आँखा खोल्ने कोसिस गर। एउटा भजनले भन्छ, अविनाशी प्रभु मेरो मनको ढोका खोला, बरु मलाई अंधो बना, ज्ञान को आँखा खोला। अविनाशी प्रभु मेरो नाम रहोस् सधैं श्वासमा मेरो, भगवन केवल तिम्रो यस्तो वरदान देऊ मलाई, नरहोस् जन्म मरणको कुरो। अविनाशी प्रभु मेरो हे भगवान, हे अविनाशी, हे ईश्वर, मेरो मनको ढोका खोलिदेऊ। ढोकाको मतलब दरवाजा। मनको दरवाजा खोलेर हे प्रभु मलाई भित्र प्रवेश गर्ने अवसर देऊ। म भित्र पसेर मेरो जुन ज्ञानको आँखा छ यो चर्म चक्षुलाई तिमी बरु बन्द गरिदेऊ, मलाई अन्धो बनाइदेऊ, तर मेरो ज्ञानको आँखा खोलिदेऊ। हे भगवान, हे ईश्वर, हे गॉड, मेरो श्वास श्वासमा तिम्रो नाम सधैँभरि रहिरहोस् र म निरन्तर आफ्नो श्वास श्वासमा तपाईको नामको स्मरण गर्न सकौं। जुन नामको स्मरण गर्नाले जन्म मरणको जुन चक्र छ त्यो नरहोस् प्रभु, यतिसम्म म गर्न सकौं। साँच्चै हो, मान्छेले सोच्यो भने के गर्न सक्दैन। हजुरहरूलाई थाहा छ आज हामी विज्ञानको जमाना भनेर जुन भौतिक चमत्कारहरू देखेर अचम्बित पनि हुने गर्छौं, तर त्यो सम्पूर्ण आविष्कारहरू कसले गरेको भन्दा मान्छे, हामी तपाईं जस्तै मान्छे, जसले चाहिँ कम्प्युटर बनायो, त्यसमा माउस लगायो र त्यो माउस घुमाउनाले हामी वर्ल्डको सबै समाचारहरू देख्न सक्छौं एकै ठाउँमा बसेर। तर त्यस्तो त्यस्तो आविष्कार गर्नेवाला व्यक्ति जसको मन रूपी माउस यो माइन्ड रूपी कम्प्युटर भित्र जडान गरेर भगवानले धरतीमा पठाइदिनु भयो र यो सृष्टिको सरताज हो मान्छे र यो सृष्टिको सरताज हो मान्छे। यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि मान्छेले सोच्यो भने जो हाम्रो भित्र थिंकिङ छ नेगेटिभ थिंकिङलाई हटाएर पोजिटिभ थिंकिङ ल्याउन सक्यो भने अवश्य मान्छेले राम्रो भन्दा राम्रो उपलब्धि गर्न सक्छ। त्यसमा पनि अध्यात्म ज्ञान। श्री गुरु महाराज जी को असीम दया अनुकम्पाद्वारा जुन आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान आज हामीलाई प्राप्त भएको छ। हेर्नुहोस् युवा भाइ बहिनीहरू, तपाईहरु धेरै पढा लेखा हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईहरु साइन्स पढ्नु भएको छ, कोही डाक्टर हुनुहुन्छ होला, कोही इन्जिनियर हुनुहुन्छ होला, कसैले हार्डवेयर इन्जिनियरिङ पास गर्नु भएको छ होला, कसैले सफ्टवेयर। तर जसले पनि भौतिक ज्ञानलाई जति प्राप्ति गरेको छ यो अध्यात्ममा मेडिटेसन गर्दै जानुभयो भने तपाईहरुले अति सजिलैसँग भित्री ज्ञानलाई प्राप्ति गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। भित्र जो बाहिर ब्रह्माण्डमा छ सो हाम्रो शरीर रूपी पिण्ड भित्र विराजमान छ। तपाईले मन रूपी माउस जुन छ त्यसलाई घुमाउनुहोस् अनि भित्रै तपाईले क्लिक गर्दै हेर्नुहोस्, भित्र ईश्वरको जुन चमत्कार छ। संत ब्रह्मानन्द स्वामीले आफ्नो भजनमा सम्झाउनु भयो, अचरज देखा भारी रे साधु, अचरज देखा भारी रे, बिना भूमि का महल बना है, तामे जोत उजियारी रे, अंधा देख देख सुख पावे, बात बतावे सारी रे। अचरज देखा भारी रे साधु, अचरज देखा भारी रे, बिना भूमि का महल बना है, तामे जोत उजियारी रे। बिना भूमि का महल नै यो हाम्रो मस्तिष्क, यो जुन हाम्रो शिर छ बाहिरबाट हेर्दाखेरि 2-2.5 किलोको होला, तर तपाई जब हाम्रो यो दुई आँखाहरू बन्द गरेर भित्र हेर्नुहुन्छ, असीम जसको कुनै सीमा छैन, असीम दृश्य तपाई यस भित्र देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ। यस्तो अनेकौं अचम्मको लीलाहरू तपाईं देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ जसलाई सन्त ब्रह्मानन्द स्वामीले बिना भूमिको महल भनेर सुनाउनु। र त्यो बिना भूमिको महल भित्र जगमग ज्योति जलिरहेको छ। त्यो ज्योतिलाई अन्धाले देख्यो। आज गुरु महाराजजीको ज्ञान प्राप्त गरेका छौं हामीले र हामी यो भौतिक दृष्टिलाई बन्द गरेर जब दुवै नयन बन्द गरेर भित्र हामी बाहिर अन्धो भएर भित्र देख्यौं त हामीलाई दिव्य दृष्टि हाम्रो खोलियो त हामीले भित्र ज्योतिको दर्शन गर्यौं। त हेर्नुस् त्यसरी नै बिना बजाए निसकिन बाजे शंखा घण्टा नगारी अन्धा देख देख सुख पावे बात बतावे सारी। र यस्तै यस्तै हामीले भित्र अमृतलाई प्राप्ति गर्यौं भनेदेखिलाई भित्रै हामीले अनहद नादको श्रवण गर्यौं। हेर्नुहोस् आज मैले हेरिरहेकी थिएँ यो सञ्जालमा सबै युवा भाइ बहिनीहरू उपस्थित हुनुहुन्थ्यो। उहाँहरूले आफ्नो आफ्नो अनुभवहरू पनि सुनाउनु भयो, सुन्नेहरूले सुनिरहनु भएको थियो र समयको एकदम पाबन्दी छ। यसकारणले सर्टकटमा म के भन्न चाहन्छु भने जो ज्ञान प्राप्ति गर्नु भएको छ खूब जमेर मेडिटेसन गरौँ र आत्मा अनुभूति गरौँ। अन्तर हृदय भित्र हामी ज्योतिको दर्शन गरेर सेवा गरेर, सेवाले के हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा थियो। सेवाले हाम्रो मन भजनमा लाग्छ। जब हामी भजन गर्छौं, भजन गर्नु भनेको ईश्वरलाई पुकार गर्नु हो। त्यसमा सत्य ज्ञान प्राप्ति भएको छ र ईश्वरको पुकार सँगसँगै हामी के गर्न सक्छौं भने दर्शन पनि हुन सक्छ, हुन्छ, भएको छ। र यो एकदम फ्याक्ट कुरो हो, सत्य कुरा हो। खूब अनुभव गरौँ। हजुरहरूलाई फेरि पनि मौका मिल्यो भने पछि आउने नै छौं र हाम्रा सन्त महात्माहरूले धेरै गुण रहस्यहरू हजुरहरूको बीचमा राख्नुहुनेछ। हाम्रो कार्यक्रम सुरुवात भएको छ। यसमा सबैजना उपस्थित भएर कार्यक्रमबाट लाभ उठाउनु होला भन्दै यो छोटो समयलाई म यही नै स्थगित गर्न चाहन्छु। र अघि उद्घोष भए अनुसार अब हामी कार्यक्रमको एन्डतिर जाँदैछौँ र हामी 5 मिनट सबैजना एकछिन मानिलिउँ मेडिटेसन नामको भजन गरौँ। गुरु महाराजजीलाई सम्झेर नामको भजन गरौँ। त्यस पश्चात फेरि वन्दना गरेर कार्यक्रमलाई हामी एन्ड गर्नेछौँ। सच्चिदानन्द भगवानको जय, सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। सबैजना मेडिटेसनमा रहनुहोला। प्रेम सिंह भनो श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। जगत जननी माता जी की जय। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं ममैव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं सदा सत्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि सदा भवानी दायिनी षण्मुख पांच देव रक्षा ब्रह्मा विष्णु प्रेम संग भलो श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। आदि शक्ति जगत जननी माता की जय। शुद्ध सनातन मानव धर्म की जय। सबै महापुरुषहरू की जय। सब भक्त भगवान की जय।
श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज को जय। महात्मा पुनित बाईजीलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छौँ। आफ्नो दैनिक सत्संग कार्यक्रमहरूको तालिकालाई हेरफेर गर्दै हाम्रो आजको कार्यक्रममा समय दिनुभयो। बाईजीप्रति धेरै धेरै आभार प्रकट गर्न चाहन्छौँ। I would also like to thank all the participants who actively participated and shared their experience, especially to the youth speakers and all the senior speakers. Your presentation was very clear, very inspiring, and we look forward to speaking with you all and learning from your experiences in the future as well. And besides all the participants, I'd also like to thank all the singers who presented wonderful bhajans and made this program melodious. I'd also like to thank all the technicians who are working behind and helping us present this program to all the viewers. And last but not the least, all the viewers who stayed with us along this time of around 3 hours and made this program a success. We also promise you to be present again after 14 days. I already mentioned it's a fortnight program, so we'll be back on Friday after a couple of weeks. So till then, stay safe, stay home, and meditate. Get inspired and inspire others. Thank you. Jai Sri Sajjana.